So what we're going to do now is start looking at building out a very simple level out of um, Unreal brushes, cube brushes. So something like this. So all these are is it's essentially the same cube and shaped in different sizes. So let's take a look. I'm going to make a new scene, or I'm going to go to a new level really quick. And I'm going to, let's save this guy, just sort of build it off on this same grid. Okay. So a couple things is you want to, when you're starting to construct a level, especially if you're making a game that's similar to another, you want to look at the way that those levels are constructed in the actual game. Now, I just Googled Pac-Man, and this is the first image that popped up. And you'll see here that there's a sort of uniformity to it. This side here is the inverse of this side here. And it's the same for the top. And it's divided by a square. And these are exactly placed roughly exactly apart the same distance. And this builds a nice form of symmetry. It allows you to relax your eyes as you're moving Pac-Man around to play the game. And if you actually Google Pac-Man and you go to the All section, you can actually play You can play Pac-Man on Google's through the Google browser. And I think that's a great way for you to kind of get familiar with the mechanics. I sort of mentioned this before, but just it's a good idea to keep playing the game, but not just play it in the sense of where you're turning your mind off as a relaxing thing, but like what interaction happens when I touch the ghost? What like does the game pause when I collect a coin? When I hit it, does the game pause? So these are all elements that you want to take in and think about why does it do that. So let's take a quick look at how we're going to build out our level. So going off to basics, you'll notice that we have these different options. You'll see that this is a static mesh actor. This is not what we want for now. This is more like a primitive you take out of Maya or 3D Studio Max or Blender. We're going to go to geometry and we're going to select our box brush. A couple of things here. Brushes are great. They're almost like the sculpting tool inside of Unreal. I like to use them just sort of as a basic design tool if I'm not building any art. So let's take a look at how you adjust your brush settings. So if you scroll down in the details panel, you'll see here there's an X, Y, and Z for your brush settings. I want to make this the same length as this object here. Well, Unreal provides us with a pretty good way of doing that. And so I'm going to expand this. And it's in the form of a ruler. So if I click this and I hit F to focus and I scroll in a little bit and I right click, or I'm sorry, middle mouse click, and I drag this out, you'll notice I can hit 1,000 for width. And so that tells me right off the bat that's in these Unreal units. So in here on the y-axis, if I type in 1,000, let's do 1,000, not 100. There we go. You'll see that if I shift this over, it's actually the same length. And I can kind of move it this way. So I want you to avoid using the scaling options here. Scale is the entirety of the object, right? And we want to adjust the settings. So for example, if I change this scale to 0.5, it's going to scale it down this way, but it's not set at 100%. So the best way to do that is to actually go in and whatever attributes you want to adjust it here. So here's 100. Okay, let's scale this up so you can see that a little bit better. So let's say we're happy with that for our wall. What I'm going to do is, the way you duplicate these objects is I hold Alt and I right click to drag out like this. And then if I want to make the two other walls, I hold Alt and I drag that out. And then what I'll do in this section under rotation is type in 90. You can see I can place my objects here. And again, holding Alt, I can drag that out. We have our 4 walls for our maze. Now if you hold Control and you select all these objects, you can actually go in here and sort of adjust these uniformly. So there's like 100, or let's take it back to 200. Or for Y, we can, I don't know, let's do X 50 to make it a little thinner. So you can see that's how we adjust it. Now, something else I want you to notice is it has this it's hard to see color that's across the surface. So one way of selecting all of these different materials at the same time is by using our geometry section, select, and then we can go to select all, or select matching material. And that's going to select everything that has the same material on it. And then you'll see here that it actually doesn't have a material on it. So I'm going to grab this level material that I created, just like the other ones, and just drop it on there. And I can do the same for this ground plane. Just look for my material here, just drag and drop that. Oops, let's do that one more time. There we go. So with that said, I'm actually going to end the video here, and I'm going to let you to just go online and sort of build out your own level, or if you want, and you want to follow along exactly, let's not save that, and let's open up our other one. Just pause the video and look at the way I constructed this one with these individual pieces.